Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Elizabeth Doroba. Emergency crews responded to a fire at the Flow X Lounge in Hazleton on Tuesday. According to officials, crews were dispatched to the scene at 511 West Broad Street around 3:30 a.m. Officials say the fire started on the roof and spread to the rest of the building. No injuries were reported in the blaze, but the building sustained heavy damage. Route 93 was closed as crews worked the scene, but has since reopened. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. A man from Wapwallopin is facing charges after troopers say he raped an 8-year-old girl. According to Pennsylvania State Police, Dustin Sebo has been charged with rape of a child, sexual assault, indecent assault, and corruption of minors, among other related charges. Troopers say the investigation into the incident began on April 4th after a complaint was filed through Childline. According to the affidavit, the victim described the assaults to officials at the Luzerne County Children's Advocacy Center. Sebo has been taken into custody and is currently behind bars at the Luzerne County Correctional Facility, where he was denied bail. Local legislators have announced an upcoming roundtable discussion regarding the potential closure of the Penn State Hazleton campus. The event is open to the public and will take place at the Hazleton Launch Box on Thursday, April 10th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. During the roundtable, legislators, business leaders, and residents will have the opportunity to express their concerns regarding the closure. Participants at the roundtable will include Penn State Hazleton Chancellor Dr. Elizabeth Wright, Greater Hazleton Chamber of Commerce President Mary Malone, Hazleton Integration Project President Robert Curry, Hazleton Area School District Superintendent Brian Uplinger, Senator Dave Argel, Senator Linda Schlegel-Culver, and PA State Representatives Dane Watrow and Jamie Walsh. The Hazleton Launch Box is located at 13 West Broad Street in Hazleton. Harry George Vega of Wilkes-Barre has been taken into custody following a months-long drug investigation in Wilkes-Barre. According to officials, Vega was arrested on April 4th after a search warrant was executed at his home on Marjorie Avenue. During the search, investigators say they discovered a backpack containing several bags of crystal methamphetamine, 50 packets of fentanyl, 23 oxycodone pills, a digital scale, and about $3,000 in cash. According to court records, investigators also found an additional $88,000 in cash, a money counter, money bands, more meth, and 5 Suboxone pills. Police say Vega told officers that he would receive approximately 3 to 8 pounds of meth every 2 or 3 months and would profit anywhere between $600 to $800 per pound after it was sold. Vega was taken to the Luzerne County Correctional Facility and faces drug-related charges in connection with the investigation. Coming up on WYLN News, we learn about the upcoming Easter services at Christ Lutheran Church in Hazleton. Plus, Wilkes-Barre Township Police investigate a reported retail theft. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the WYLN Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
WYLN News is brought to you by Lehigh Valley Health Network Pediatric Rehabilitation Services in Hazleton, a brand new location custom designed with children in mind. Our team of therapists and specialists improve the lives of children who need physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech-language pathology.
My name is Andy, and tomorrow it's going to be partly cloudy.
We want your child to be our WYLN Weather Kid. Your child can be our feature weather reporter of the day on Wyln News and Wyln social media posts just by using your smartphone or any video recording device. It's easy. All ages are welcome, from toddlers to teens. To find out how, go to the weather section of WYLNTV.com or look for our post about it on the Wyln News Facebook page. Submit your Weather Kid video today. SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Rinnai, and trained comfort specialists, call SJ Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
Hello, I'm Wyln historian Chris Fulmer. Pennsylvania's communities are filled with interesting history. Come with me as we discover the people, events, industries, and other historic facets of local towns.
Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicap accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969. Do you like craft beer? Do you want to learn the right way to sample wine? How about checking out a restaurant with a unique flavor or a crazy food challenge? These are just some of the things we are featuring on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. So, spend some time learning about great wine, great beer, and great food on WYLN TV 35.
Welcome back to WYLN News. Easter Sunday is right around the corner, and churches all over Hazleton are getting ready to celebrate the holiday. We visited Christ Lutheran Church in Hazleton to speak with Pastor David Eisenhuth, who told us about this momentous time of the year for the church.
Well, I think that Easter is such an amazing time of the year. When you think about what God does for us through the life, death, and resurrection of his son Jesus, how can you not but be filled with this incredible joy? And how could you not want to be with other people as you hear that Jesus is risen? And so I'm hoping that we fill this space and that we'll even have people down the side aisles here, because it's just a wonderful church filled with very warm and welcoming people.
Easter Sunday is preceded by Holy Week, which begins on Sunday, April 13th, with a Palm Sunday Mass at 10 o'clock a.m. Palm Sunday is followed by a 7 o'clock p.m. Holy Thursday service and a Good Friday service at 2 p.m. The week concludes with an Easter Vigil Mass on Saturday at 8 o'clock p.m. and an Easter morning Mass at 10 a.m. Eisenhuth said the Easter morning service will teach about the importance of Christ's resurrection, but will also be fun and accessible for kids.
Everybody gets a little headpiece with ears, and then some young people are going to be dressed up as sheep. We're going to process in, and someone is going to hide somewhere in the church here, and then shepherds will be dressed up also will find the lost sheep, and that reminds us that we're all lost, but Jesus seeks us out anyway. And then all the young people get little fluffy sheep to take home. They come in colors. I've never seen a pink sheep, but I'm sure somebody will want one. So I think our young person's time is really neat because of the churches in Hazleton. We're one of the few that has lots of young people, and they get really enthusiastic, which is a real blessing to me and to the people here in the congregation.
Pastor Eisenhuth said that he hopes more people join the congregation on Easter Sunday and that the doors of the church are always open to anyone.
I've developed a tagline for the church here, and it is, there's a place for you at Christ Church. And I think what that tries to tell people is that no matter where they are on their journey of faith, no matter who they are, no matter how different they may be from, the traditional Christian, that they're welcome here and that they find a place that they can call home. So I hope if people come on Easter that they'll realize that there's something very special going on here, and there really is, that they might consider coming back again and, being part of who we are.
Christ Lutheran Church is located at 210 West Green Street in Hazleton. The Easter Mass and service times can be found by visiting clchazleton.com. Transportation Security Administration officers at the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton Airport intercepted a 9mm loaded handgun on Friday. According to officials, the gun was found with 11 bullets during an X-ray of a carry-on bag. The bag belonged to a Honesdale resident who has been charged a fine. TSA officials say the civil penalties for carrying weapons on an airplane can reach up to $15,000. The Wilkes-Barre Township Police Department is attempting to identify the two individuals shown on screen. According to police, the suspects are wanted in connection with a reported retail theft at the Wilkes-Barre Township Wegmans on April 5th. Anyone with information regarding the identities of the suspects is asked to contact Wilkes-Barre Township Police at 570-208-4635, extension 363. A woman is wanted by the Columbia County Adult Probation and Parole Office. Ashley Taylor Fenstermacher is described as standing 5 feet 7 inches tall and weighing 140 pounds. She has blonde hair and blue eyes. Anyone with information regarding Fenstermacher's whereabouts is asked to contact the Columbia County Adult Probation and Parole Office at 570-389-5650. Coming up on Weatherly's News Choice, Chris Fulmer leads us down the path through history with Milton, Part 2. Plus, we discuss the steps to becoming a police officer on this week's segment of Police Talk. And stay right here on WYLN. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's Justin from Grand Central, and our trained sleep professionals are here to help you sleep like never before. With an extensive line of Sealy and Stearns & Foster mattresses, we are sure to find you the right mattress at the right price. Free delivery and removal, interest-free financing for up to 60 months, and same or next day delivery on select models.
And don't forget, everyday low prices. Stop in to one of our 2 locations,
Route 93 in Escapec,
or downtown Hazleton,
and see why Northeast and Central Pennsylvania sleeps better with Grand Central.
Are you looking for a trustworthy publishing company to publish your book? One that understands the process and upholds Christian values in its business practices?
Introducing Covenant Books, an author-friendly publisher who shares your beliefs and wants to publish your story. Call us today to get a free author packet to help get you started.
We realize your book is unique, personal, and written with a higher purpose. That's the content we're looking for.
We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process with professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the industry.
Covenant distributes and sells your book online and in bookstores everywhere. We convert your book in ebook format and sell it on Amazon, Apple iTunes, and to these distributors. Our authors love us.
So if you've written a biography, a devotional, a memoir, self-help, or any genre, we can help. Be like these authors and get your book published and sold today.
Call right now for your free writer's guide.
1-800-215-3680.
WYLN programming is online all the time. Visit our website at WYLNTV.com to check out archive shows and a live stream of our broadcasts. And don't forget to visit all of our social media pages for breaking news, weather, and sports. You can also head directly to our YouTube page for all our programming at youtube.com/WYLNTV35. Subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time there's a new show available online.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
A Path Through History is sponsored by The Old Jail Museum, 128 West Broad Street in Jim Thorpe. Call 570-325-5259 or visit them online at theoldjailmuseum.com.
As America stood on the edge of the Civil War, Milton found itself the epicenter of Pennsylvanian politics. James Pollock had been born in Milton in 1810. A graduate of Princeton, he practiced law in Milton before being elected to the U.S. House of Representatives in 1844, where he would serve 3 terms. In Pollock's initial year in Congress, he roomed with a freshman representative from Illinois named Abraham Lincoln, who would become a good friend. Pollock was a strong supporter of telegraph technology and was a driving force in getting congressional funds to build the first telegraph line. He would also be president on May 24, 1844, when the first telegraph message, "What hath God wrought?" was transmitted by Samuel Morse from the Capitol Supreme Court chambers to a Baltimore and Ohio railroad station in Baltimore. During Pollock's time in the House, he would also be among the first congressmen to champion the building of a transcontinental railroad, which he would live to see in action. He left Congress in 1850, but 4 years later would be nominated by the Whig Party to be Pennsylvania's governor. He would defeat sitting Democrat Governor William Bigler to become Pennsylvania's 13th governor, the last Whig to hold the position before the party collapsed in the eve of the Civil War, and the first Pennsylvania governor to have an outdoor inauguration. During Pollock's tenure, he kept the state steady during the Panic of 1857 and moved to sell Pennsylvania's publicly held canals and railroads. Following his term in office, Pollock was a delegate to the Peace Conference of 1861, called by Lincoln to keep southern states that had not seceded at that point in time from doing so. The same year, he would be appointed director of the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia. He would be serving in this position when he was approached by Treasury Secretary Salmon P. Chase with the proposition to come up with a phrase declaring the trust Americans had in God to put on the country's coins. Pollock, a deeply religious man, drew up several possibilities, including God our trust and Our trust is in God. Chase condensed all of his suggestions into In God We Trust, which first appeared on the 2-cent coin in 1864 and has been on all United States coins since 1866. Pollock also served for many years as a trustee for Lafayette College. He died in 1890 and today rests in his hometown in Milton Cemetery. After the Civil War, industry started building in Milton. Robert W. Wilson opened a fly net factory in 1860. He had patented a special brand of fly netting, which was draped over a horse or mule's back to keep flies and other insect irritants away. Daniel Klinger opened a planing mill in town in 1866. Charles A. Godcharles opened an iron and nail factory in 1875. It would later become the F.A. Godcharles Company under his son Frederick and operate until 1914. And Samuel J. Scheimer & Sons became a producer of cutter heads. The Scheimer family owned the business until 1957 when it was sold to the Wisconsin Knife Works. It would take one day, however, for Milton's prosperity and much of the community as a whole to be struck down. May 14, 1880 began as a warm and sunny day. All seemed calm to all the Miltonians who were out and about that morning. At quarter to noon, however, the whistle of the Milton Car Works began to frankly sound. Soon afterwards, a man came tearing through the street shouting, "Fire at the car works!" The roof of the facility's framing shop was by then engulfed in flames. It is not known today how the fire started, but either a spark from inside the framing shop or an ember discharge from a locomotive passing by in the adjacent Philadelphia and Erie Railroad are plausible options. To make matters worse, it was at this time that a terrible storm roared into Milton from the northeast, bringing high winds that proceeded to blow the flames across the borough. Local citizens did what they could to fight the blaze, but it spread faster than they could control it, and help had to be called in from neighboring towns. It would be to no avail. By 4 o'clock, almost all of Milton lay in ruins. Of 700 buildings that stood before the fire, only 60 still stood afterwards. 3,000 Miltonians were left homeless, although miraculously there was only one death from the blaze. It was lamented by many that it would take a quarter century for Milton to return to what it had been before the fire. This would be proven wrong, however, as rebuilding began as soon as the last embers burned out. Within a year of the blaze, over 250 new buildings had been erected, all of them of non-flammable brick and stone. Far from being broken, Milton's best days were still to come. Milton had survived the Great Fire of 1880 and was rebuilt stronger than ever, but water could prove just as damaging as fire for a community along a river. Numerous floods inundated Milton over the years. One of the worst would come in 1889 on May 31st, weeks of nonstop rain, which further west in Pennsylvania would trigger the collapse of Johnstown's South Fork Dam, and the horrible Johnstown flood would be the catalyst. The floodwaters broke the Susquehanna boom above Williamsport, sending over 150 million board feet of lumber down the river with the water. The debris smashed and destroyed every bridge over the West Branch from Williamsport to Sunbury. 90% of Milton was underwater at the height of the flood. It would be 5 years before all the bridges over the West Branch would be rebuilt. Businesses would recover well in Milton, though. The Pleasant Valley Creamery opened on Hepburn Street in 1887. 160 local farms provided 1,000 gallons of cream a day for processing, and during the summer, the creamery would produce 400 gallons of ice cream a week. The second floor of the creamery would be converted into a candy factory in 1922, where Pleasant Valley chocolates were made. The Pleasant Valley Creamery closed in 1933, and the building burned down in 1965. Football was beginning to gain its first burst of popularity in the late years of the 19th century. Among those who played it were George Barkley, who had been born in Millville in 1876, but who grew up in Milton. After high school, he went to Bucknell Academy, a secondary school affiliate of the university of the same name, then moved on to Lafayette College in 1894, where he joined the Leopards football team. At the time, football was a particularly violent sport, and severe injuries, and sometimes fatalities, were not uncommon. Barkley, after taking in the damage some of his teammates absorbed on the field, decided to get protection for himself. And so he reached out to an Easton harness maker to create something to protect his head. He would call the final product, which was essentially leather earmuffs connected with a strap, a head harness. Some believe this was the very first football helmet, and while there is inconclusive evidence to support this claim, it is undisputed that Barkley was one of the first players to wear a helmet. He would give his creation a big boost of publicity in 1896 when he wore it while scoring the winning points against the powerhouse University of Pennsylvania squad. Barkley dropped out of Lafayette the following year after a dispute over his eligibility and turned to playing baseball. He had a strong season with the St. Louis Cardinals in 1902, but was gutted by malaria the following season and was never the same player again. Barkley became a dentist in Philadelphia after his playing days. He died in 1909 following appendix surgery. George Barkley rests today in Easton's Easton Cemetery.
Lehigh Valley Health Network is now proudly part of Jefferson Health. And when two healthcare leaders come together for the community, you can expect more. More access, more doctors, more convenience. Jefferson Health and Lehigh Valley Health Network. Together for the future of care.
When you see news happening in your neighborhood, call Wyln News at 570-459-1869 or email us at news@wylntv.com or send us a message on social media through Facebook. Wyln, we're your local network. Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve, 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969.
Something is out there. What it is, no one knows. However, since its first sighting, there have been numerous reports of strange lights in the night sky. Some say they are extraterrestrials, flying saucers. But to all of those seemingly unrelated uncertainties, there is one common thread.
Solo Spaceman. Watch Solo Spaceman on WYLN Thursdays at 1:30, Saturdays at 7, and Sundays at 4:30.
Welcome back to Police Talk. I'm here once again with Jessica Sirkin from the Hazleton City Police Department. Jessica, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Doing good.
So today we're talking about how to become a police officer, something obviously you've done.
Yes.
So give us a little bit of an idea.
So you need to have your high school diploma or your GED equivalent. Certain departments you have to be 21 years of age or older. There are departments out there that will hire you at 18, but they're a little bit harder to locate. You need to be able to complete Act 120 Academy, which all those requirements are located on the Lackawanna College website. And then you also need to make sure you have a Pennsylvania driver's license. You don't have a criminal history. And some departments don't even require college anymore.
Is it required to go to some kind of like police academy or something like that as well?
You were required to go to Pennsylvania's Act 120, which is approximately 9 months. There's an hour limitation on how long you have to be there. You have to successfully complete that course and then take a state test, a MOPEC test, and pass that with a certain grade, and then you're eligible to go ahead and have employment at some kind of police department.
So what kind of things do they test you on? Like, is it physical abilities? Is it classes? Is it?
So you do have to take a physical fitness test that you have a sprint, a run, push-ups, and sit-ups. Within that physical fitness test, you have to take that to enter the academy, and you have to take it again and pass it with a higher number. Then you're going to go in, you'll do everything from defensive tactics, which is similar to grappling, ground fighting, things along those lines. You have range, so firearms, everything from shooting a handgun to a shotgun to a rifle. You will have to also do handcuffing techniques. You'll have to do interview techniques. You'll have to go through courtroom classes. So in that span of 9 months, you have a lot of stuff packed in to your day.
Gotcha. So if someone is in high school right now and they're thinking about this career path, what kind of things should they be thinking about as far as grades, extracurriculars, things like that?
Definitely, when you're considering this as a career option, you want to make sure you stay out of trouble. You have to pass school, so you have to get good grades. Definitely looking into anything that could help your knowledge and base yourself on what kind of career in law enforcement you want will definitely help if you're somebody who likes the forensic science end of it. There are those summer camps out there that you can go to. If you are somebody who is gung-ho and wants to hit the road and do those types of things, definitely anything involving driving. We drive a lot. That's a main part of our job. So making sure that you get the practice and the education and the experience within those things is really good.
And what kind of drew you into this field? So what would you recommend? Why would you recommend?
So I'm actually fourth generation police officer. My dad, my grandfather, my great-grandfather were police officers down in South Jersey. So I kind of grew up, I guess you could say. At my birthday parties, it was all police officers. At family events or functions, it was all police related. So I kind of was drawn into it because of that camaraderie and that brotherhood that they have. You do have a special bond with the people you work with because there are days you're seeing the worst in people, or you're with somebody on their worst day of your life. And you don't have many people that you can go home and talk to about that other than your coworkers. So the bond that you do create within this field is intense.
Gotcha. So lots of great information. Anything else that people should know?
If you're serious about a career in law enforcement, always go and talk to Lackawanna County College. They have a police academy right here in the city on Broad in Wyoming. They can go in, they can get all of the information on what their requirements are, both physically and on paper, and it'll be able to help them jumpstart their career.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you for joining us today. That'll do it for another segment of Police Talk. We'll see you next time.
You're watching WYLN TV 35.